Hoop ballers. Let's talk about your balls. Yep, your balls and the area around them. Let's talk about manscaped.com. Go there and use promo code hoopball20, HOOPBALL20. Use the promo code and go check out all the tools they have of trimming the hedges and taking care of your lawn, like the Lawnmower 3.0 with a built-in LED light to help you get into those dark dye crevices on the inner parts. Also, the Gooch. It is hard to get to the Gooch if you can't see it. So use the LED light with the anti-tugless technology on the razor, full long battery life. Then check out the Weed Whacker. Bring that out of the shed. Use it on your shrubs. Cut down what you need, down to bare minimum if you need to. It's got a nice anti-tugless technology just like the Lawnmower 3.0. It's also got a lithium battery. And best news of all, these things are waterproof. So that way you can do it in the shower and take care of business in the cleanest way possible. Hoopball20 is the promo code that's going to get you free shipping as well as 20% off. I recommend using it. I recommend getting the complete care kit with your free shipping and your 20% off. Spend a little extra, get a lot more. There's a good care kit there for us gentlemen: face scrub, shampoo, ball treatment, and the area that surrounds our balls. I believe there's even a pair of underwear in there for our balls. So yeah, that's going to conclude the talk about our balls. Now let's talk about bets. MyBookie.ag is where all the hoop ballers take care of their winnings and where we place all of our wagers that we post in our article in the Wager Pass, as well as our free plays and our Discord chats. Yes, MyBookie.ag. Use promo code HOOPBALL, HOOPBALL. Let them know that we sent you. Hell, specifically type in my name. I want them to know. But most importantly, you got to let them know what podcast that is. And it is Today in Sports Betting. You let them know that we sent you, and then we as a family get to grow. And then we get to set you up to reap more benefits. And that is what's important to us because we are here to help you win money. And that is why we recommend MyBookie. Their slogan is bet, win, get paid. And it's quite simply that easy. Use Bitcoin to get going. That's a high recommendation of VM Center at Vince Miracle, our guy. It's a recommendation of me. It's so easy. Dan Bespris, the Podfather, Aaron Brewski, the Godfather, they get in there, they get going with Bitcoin, they get their money in and out, and it's easy peasy. Hoopball's the promo code. Use that. Let them know that we sent you. MyBookie.ag. Bet, win, get paid. Now, as a podcast, we have your balls and your bets covered. And without further ado, we have Today in Sports Betting.
The following is a Hoop Ball presentation.
Hoop Ballers! Welcome back to another episode and another edition of Today in Sports Betting. I am your host, Devin Ellington, at DALE007 on Twitter. You can find the show, the rest of the team, and other programming notes, as well as free plays over at Hoopball Gaming. And then, of course, the motherboard that you need to go check out pronto, very quickly and very rapidly. Go check out hoop-ball.com because they are the reason that we are here. Shout out to the Podfather, Dan Bespris himself, and the Godfather at Aaron Brewski, President and VP, respectively speaking. So, Lots of shout outs to our leadership for getting everything churning like hot butter. We got some great sponsors, two, in fact. You'll see them swirling around the website as well as in our tweets and in this podcast. Manscaped.com and mybookie.ag. I actually just used the Lawnmower 4.0 that just came out last week to trim my mustache up into a nice little smaller mustache. Got rid of the handlebar look and cleaned it up a little bit for a date. So use promo code HoopBall20. That's 20 at the end. HOOPBALL 20 for 20% off, free shipping on great items like the Lawnmower 4.0 that has a built-in LED light and anti-tugless technology. I can go at it without a guard and I can just go willy-nilly. And I get no tugs, I get no cuts. It's wonderful. Get your lawn mowed. And then, of course, mybookie.ag. Promo code over there is HoopBall. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about them because, I've got a pre-recorded promo section drop intro thingy-majig that I'm going to just drop in here. So, MyBookie, I just wanted to highlight them a little bit, but also wanted to talk about Manscaped and tell you about how I trimmed my mustache with their awesome product. So, with that being said, today's show is going to be a piñata. It's full of stuff, and it's just ready to be whacked by your ears to have all that stuff fall out into your eardrums and your ear tubes and all your other auditorial, mechanisms that your body has. So today's going to be a fun show because I've got a couple of fresh new voices. Well, one is an old friend of the show, and I'm really happy to have back on the show. And really happy to start doing some more collaborative work with this gentleman. But also, we're going to have Jonathan Martinez on later on. We're going to do a separate segment with him talking home run prop betting, as well as how he goes about it. Cashed another plus 400 winner yesterday. And it's just crazy. It seems like he hits one every day. So on top of that, like I said, we got two great guests. We're going to have some phenomenal banter. We're going to have some insight and in-deep looks about, I think, probably some New York Football Giants, maybe some baseball, definitely some baseball, definitely baseball. That's never the question. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring our first sparkling additional voice onto this fine recorded podcast. Like I said, old friend of the show. His name is Ramblin Russ. He is at Russ Ramblin on Twitter, and he is at Ramblin Russ in real life. Russ, hey, how you doing, man?
It is great to be with you today, Devin. It is a wonderful day here in Connecticut. I'm having a good day, and I appreciate being on the show again. And got some good picks going, and got some good advice for those of you who need some advice today on sports and other things. So I'm definitely here to help and answer some questions and discuss some good stuff with you today, Devin. How you been?
Oh, the flooding has stopped out here in Oklahoma. Noah's Ark left, and I'm back on the grid. So there's that. I can't really can't complain too much. How is the East Coast over there? How's that going?
We're doing good. We went through some weather, and now we got this tropical storm, Ilsa, I believe her name is, coming our way. We're hoping it blows out east and avoids the Connecticut, New York area. There's been a lot of rain. Rain has played a lot of havoc on some baseball games, and I don't like the 7-inning format. I don't like the run around second. It's time to go back to pre-COVID baseball, 9-inning ball games, double headers, 9 innings. Stop being baseball. Stop changing the game, putting runners on second base in the extra inning. This is not a gimmicky game. Let's go back to the old school baseball. They're going to lose fans. They say they're losing fans now. They're going to lose even more fans if they keep this up. They need to go back to traditional baseball. 9-inning doubleheaders, no runner on second base. Let's play ball.
Oh, yes. I second that 100% because, 7 innings. That's some college stuff. You know, that's some college softball stuff. No offense,
But I was
college
at a high
softball.
school. I thought I was at the high school state championship game.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of
Watching
which,
a doubleheader.
there's a specific person that you know, and it may or may not be your son. I think it was that is a state champion, and I just wanted to say congratulations.
Thank you, Devin. Norwalk High School, the Bears of Norwalk High School in Connecticut won their first ever state championship baseball title in the largest division, Class LL. They beat 5 county teams, Fairfield County Interscholastic Athletic Conference, the FCAC. They beat 5 teams to win it. They were the 24th seed. And for those of you who like action, if they were in Vegas, they would have been 1,000-1 to win, I'm sure. And I believed in them before the state tournament. The coach made a few adjustments. He moved the leadoff batter to where he should bat leadoff. They put the defense out there. The kid that was at third base making the play stayed at third. Yours truly, my son, moved to right field every day. They won 5 straight. I'm very proud of the kids. I coached a lot of them in Little League. I know a lot of them personally. They're great kids, great team. The coach did a hell of a job in the state championship and state championship game. And they just the whole season was average regular season, but it was a state tournament that these kids will never forget. There was a parade in the town, and it ended on the green, and the mayor was there, and it was just a great tribute to Norwalk High and to the program. For many years, they had been very successful. For many years under the last coach, Pete Tucci, whose son runs Tucci Lumber in Norwalk, a popular bat company. And Norwalk has a great tradition of baseball, just like Stanford is, the town where I grew up. But Norwalk has a great tradition of baseball, and to win the championship, this first ever state title in school history, is a tremendous accomplishment and something these kids will always have with them for the rest of their lives.
Absolutely. They're going to remember that for, all time to come. And that is a phenomenal accomplishment. And I can only imagine what it feels like winning that first state title for a school that you go to. Look, it
was the coach's first year coaching the
first
team.
Year. Wow.
He's a 34-year-old young man coaching, and he did a hell of a job. He really did. He learned a lot, and the kids were mostly seniors because they didn't have baseball last year with COVID, so they're mostly seniors on the roster, 13 seniors out of about 20 kids. So, and only 2 regulars will come back, one of which was the young man Kostaki Kadonis, who hit the game-winning RBI in the top of the 7th inning. So just a remarkable story this group of kids was, and it was wonderful. We had more fans. Both teams came from Fairfield County up to Middletown, Connecticut, about an hour away, and Norwalk had twice as many fans. It was really a big deal for Norwalk High to win their first ever state title. It was a great achievement, and one that's we're still riding high from, and it's been about a month later. So
yeah. Well, like I said, I want to extend the congratulations, and that is that's phenomenal there. Thank you. Selfishly speaking, I never won a state championship in high school. I got close, but did not ever do it. So I am living vicariously through your son right now and his successes.
Well, he's heading to the University of Connecticut up in Storrs in the fall. We'll see if he's going to play baseball or not, or try to walk on the team. But we're very proud of him and proud of all the kids. And a lot of them are going to play college baseball at the next level. One of which our star pitcher, Alistair Morin, who was made All-State honorable mention, as it turns out, by the Hearst media, gave him honorable mention. He should have been All-State first team. He no-hit Amity in the first round of the state tournament. Okay, no-hit a team that hadn't been eliminated in 25 years in the first round. He no-hit him. He went on the road and no-hit him.
Wow.
So, and the kids made some great plays behind him, but he no-hit him, and he won that game 4-0. And I think that game was a big turning point for the program in a sense. And Alistair pitched over 1,000 pitches. He pitched in over half the games. He was the most valuable player. He's playing at Division I Siena.
Ooh, yeah, the Saints.
As a ball player who may emerge to the bigger league, if you know what I mean, the major league.
Yeah.
he gets a little stronger. He's got a lot of ability, and we're very proud of all the kids, and just a great run.
Yeah. Well, I'm all about my MAAC, so I will be watching some Siena baseball and keeping an eye out for that kid next year. That's for dang sure. I actually did watch some Siena baseball this year. Thank the Lords for ESPN Plus. It's a great thing. So,
Good.
Speaking of, baseball, it's so cool to hear other people, towns that they live in get state championships. Cause I've done my fair share of seeing high school teams win stuff and be in small town Oklahoma when, our team went to the state championships. Like it's a great thing. It's a good shot in the arm, especially, and you alluded to, post COVID, kind of where we're at in regards to society and timeline in this current event and chapter. And I think what's great about this championship, for A, it's y'all's first, but B, the fact that the township and the areas surrounding the school and this success that y'all have had, you guys get to come together as peoples, and that's huge in a celebratory, delightful manner. So that's really awesome for that little pocket of area that you guys are in, and I'm really, really happy for that for y'all.
Thank you very much, Devin. We appreciate it, and appreciate you bringing it up on the show.
Oh, absolutely. Now, in regards to some MLB, I would love to talk Connecticut high school baseball all day, as I'm starting to get myself into more and more scouting stuff and just wanting to know everything that there is to know about baseball, which is impossible. But the MLB card for today is a little slim pickings. And we've got some value in the card that we can find probably after doing a little bit of digging. We're going to have to back some teams today that we're probably not accustomed to backing. We see some weird spots with some underdogs. And just starting with the very first game in rotation, we're going to have overlay on this show, no doubt. But these first two games weren't games that I was particularly myself interested in, but don't let me stop you from sharing your opinions, Russ, on either the Dodgers and Marlins game or the Oakland-Houston game. Oakland-Houston is going to be one of those games that I'm going to enjoy as afternoon baseball. I've got Houston winning the series. I've got Houston representing the AL and winning their division. So I'm all in on Houston, and I'm watching their games closely, especially in these divisional matchups against Oakland, who I think finishes second in the division.
Yeah, I looked at that game. That's one of my circled games. I like that game a lot. I like Houston to keep their roll going here. They've won a lot of games in a row, and they're playing good baseball right now. And so that's one of my picks today is Houston, the Houston Astros today to beat the Oakland Athletics. And the other game you mentioned, I kind of like the. I'm sure the Marlins are an underdog in that game against the Dodgers. But Miami's playing well, and the Dodgers are stumbling a little bit right now. And I'm a guy who thinks when a streak is going one way, it tends to continue. Baseball's a game of streaks, right?
Oh, yeah.
Milwaukee won 5 straight. They were hot. So I look at streaks, and I think you got to look at streaks. And Houston's a streaky team right now. They're playing well, and Miami is getting the breaks, and they're playing well. But there's also an expression in baseball: momentum is the next day's starting pitcher. So you got to watch the pitching matchups as well.
Yeah. And we do have a really good pitching matchup between Urias and Alcantara. So that will also be a game that I'm excited to go ahead and put some eyeballs on throughout the day. The Dodgers just seem to, I think they're trying to obviously figure out their lineup again after everyone's gotten back to being healthy. The Trevor Bauer stuff is very distracting, I'm sure. They did cancel his bobblehead night on August 19th with all his off-field stuff going on right now. I'm not at liberties to speculate or say one way or the which. I'm not a Dodgers beat reporter, and I'm not informed. But if 1 + 1 = 2, and ABC 1, 2, 3, well, I think it's pretty obvious what's going on with Bauer. I do really like Houston today, as well as you do. Lance McCullers has just been, a revelation for Houston, picking up some of the slack when they were down some arms in regards to health. And I think having a good veteran presence like him, as well as Odorizzi and Greinke, like those are 3 pretty good veteran arms to have in a deep rotation for Dusty Baker.
Yeah, and Dusty's one of my favorite managers of all time too. And
it was a good hire.
That was a great hire. Yeah.
Especially coming out of that turmoil, that trouble they got themselves into. They found themselves a really good, I call Dusty like the grandpa of baseball. He's everyone's papa, or so, like he's just like he's got that peepaw feel. He's got that no
calming
nonsense
influence. He's a calming influence in a situation where you need that. And baseball's a different sport than football. And a lot of times you'll find baseball coaches out there who think they're coaching football, they're coaching baseball.
Yeah.
And there's a difference. And Dusty's fun to watch. He's a good guy. Good guy, good baseball guy. His teams usually win. And it's going to be interesting to see Houston how they perform. The media likes to pop a story here and there with the drum gate, this gate, and that gate, and Trevor Bauer's situation. I'm really not going to comment on it other than to say that hopefully the legally everything works out for everybody. But I mean, if you're asking me, are the Dodgers distracted by it? I don't know. I think that's an excuse. I think baseball players block out exterior stuff. Plus, this guy if he was an everyday player, I think it would be different. But he pitches once every 5 days.
Sure.
I would think that's being used as an excuse. But again, I'm not there like you're not there, so we don't know what's going on. But it'll be. I think the legal system will play that out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, looking to transition into more of the, I'd say, mid-afternoon stuff here. I haven't really written my wager pass article for today yet, so I've got some plays lined up that I'm looking at using without giving away too many of my Houdini secrets. Colorado and Arizona is a game that I'm looking forward to betting. I like fading Chichi Gonzalez, especially on the road. So if you want to take some foreshadowing and use it in some which way, go for it. Now, this Arizona money line has moved a decent amount. It opened at -120, and we're finding it at -134 in some spots, which is, I get it because I'm probably going to be on the same side because I don't trust Colorado on the road or Chichi Gonzalez in general, but also at home, Arizona, they play a lot better. And this offense is playing really, really well right now. Eduardo Escobar flexing some of his power and coming off that 3-game losing sweep against the Giants. They're starting to take it out on the Rockies. And at home, the Diamondbacks, they're still pretty bad. I mean, they're the Diamondbacks. They're 15-27, but then you got the road Rockies that are 6-33. Oof. I tell you, that is just rank.
That's not a game that I would even anticipate watching or looking forward to seeing, or who cares? I mean, I have to be honest with you, unless you have a few shekels on one of the teams, but I don't care for the game myself.
Yeah, I'm actually going to have 3 different plays in this one. So Arizona in the first 5, something that interests me, shrink some of that risk, take some of their bullpen out of it. Their team total, like I said, they have some of the best home slugging and BABIP numbers as an offense at home, especially against bad pitching. David Peralta, Eduardo Escobar, Christian Walker, those guys can get it done. So I'm looking at over the team total for Arizona. All holds currently right now, nothing officially locked in, loaded into the wager pass or anything else right now. But that's kind of how I'm looking at it. It's going to be an Arizona or nothing thing for me on that game. New York and Seattle. Do you have any opinions on this one, Russ?
I think the Yankees went west at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
The New York media has been hard on Aaron Boone. It's been very hard on Aaron Boone. Taking a lot of hits. Cashman's taking a lot of hits. They don't have a left-handed power in their lineup. They're going through a down. They're not the Yankees, right? People are used to seeing them winning 2 out of 3 games, every time. So when they go on a losing streak or they have bad game like they did when Pete Alonso hit the home run in the 7th inning the other night to keep the game going, and Mets wound up scoring 6 runs that inning, and Chapman imploded in the bullpen. To then travel out west following the Mets series was the best thing that happened to them. They've won 2 straight out there, and perhaps they have found their offense out west. So They got away from the mad crush that they've been going through. They got out west, and believe me, I'm not a Yankees fan. I'm a Mets fan, as you know. But I don't know. I mean, right now they're playing well for 2 games, right? So will they keep it for the 3rd game? Probably. They held on last night. They won 5-4. Looks like Chad Green's their new closer. He had a perfect 9 pitches against the Mets in his outing, game 2 of the doubleheader the other day. And Chad Green looks like he's their new closer. So the Yankees are going to be tough right now. So I would kind of lean towards the Yankees, but again, that's not one of my selections or one of my picks for anybody. But I think the Yankees are playing good baseball right at this minute.
Oh yeah, Montgomery, after Tommy John surgery, still figuring it out. He's actually a pitcher that I really like in this league. He's got some really sneaky, deceptive stuff coming off that arm angle as a lefty. And then, of course, we got a really high prospect in Logan Gilbert going on the mound, trying to get his ERA sub 4. Montgomery, Gilbert going against each other, sub 4 ERAs on the helm and the precipice of taking for both of them. Yankees minus 135. I know Blake in the other part of our show for today really liked Seattle at home. So yeah, follow Blake at Blake LaWatch to see how he ends up feeling in that game and if he is actually going to lock that in. I'm ready for a Ramblin' Russ lock of the day. Do you got one for us, Russ? Can you?
Yeah. Oh gosh, it's been a while, right?
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've given you a lock of the day.
Yeah, I want one. I have a sense or a feeling of one of the games that you're going to choose from, possibly. And I'm just curious because great minds do think alike, and I just want to see how aligned we really are.
There's three games that I look at, right? So I looked at the Dodgers Marlins. I like the Marlins, right? I like the Marlins. They've won 3 in a row, and the Dodgers have lost a few games in a row, right? And the record, the ERA of Alcantara is like under 3, but yet he's 5-7, right? So he's pitched well. He's given up less home runs than, his numbers are very similar, if not 1 point better than Julio Urias. So, and then I'm looking at, well, what's the total line? And it looks to me like they're plus 140. They're an underdog in that game. So I'm going to give you my lock of the day, and it's not a favorite, okay? And sometimes the last time I gave a lock, it was a minus 300 favorite, and it lost. But I'm going to give you the Florida Marlins as my lock of the day as a plus 143 underdog. How's that?
I think That sounds absolutely awesome. I love underdogs as locks and plays of the day because it makes it that even more exciting. And look, Alcantara, I like this kid. So, hell yeah, that's what I say to it. And what do you got next there, boss?
Much else for you? I mean, Houston's a good play. So that would be another area. But again, you asked for one lock of the day. I'm not going to give you 20 locks, but that would be the lock of the day.
Yeah, I do
Florida.
get overzealous from time to time. So Detroit, Minnesota, if that's kind of, the rest of your thoughts on the baseball card, we can talk some football giants. We can talk some NFL. We can talk, the last remaining couple games on the MLB card. Don't know if you're looking at Bucks bouncing back against the Suns. Hey, we can generally banter about Tampa Bay repeating as the Stanley Cup champ for the first time in, obviously franchise history, but the first time we've had a back-to-back Stanley Cup champ since, what was it, the Devils in the late 90s? It's been about 20 years, I think, is what I heard on the broadcast.
Yeah, so going back to the basketball for a minute, I predicted Suns in 5, and, right now they're up 1-0. I figure they're going to sweep these 2 games at home, take 1 out of 2 on the road, come back home because it's 2-2, 1-1-1, come back at home game 5 and win game 5 at home, and sweet, and 4 out of 4 and 1. I think the Suns have the better team. Chris Paul is one of the top players in the game, as we know, and I just like the Suns at home. I think they're the better team, and I think they're going to win it in 5. So that's my prediction there. As far as the football giants go, I know we talked offline before the show. I was shocked that their over-under was only 7.5 wins, and it's not a 16-game schedule. It's a 17-game schedule. And I looked at their schedule, and I believe they're going to win the division this year. I don't know what the odds are on that, but I also think they're going to win at least 10 games and go 10-7, maybe even better. So over 7.5 is my pick there with the football giants. They get Saquon back. They've made a lot of good moves in the offseason. And this is year 2 for Joe Judge. And the coach didn't have a preseason last year. It was all Zoom. It was all communicating on a computer. He's going to have his team out there, and that's why they started slow, because it took him time to get his system in place. After they started 0-5, they pretty much were 500 the rest of the year last year, and I think they're going to start out much better. They have a favorable schedule, in my opinion. Yes, I'm a Giants fan. Yes, I tend to speak with my heart, but I really believe that the Giants will do very well this year. It's a big season for Daniel Jones to prove that he's a top-notch quarterback and can get the job done. And so the pressure will be on him in that offensive line. But long term, look at their schedule, look at their division, look at who's around them, look at the other coaches. I think they're going to do very well this year. So over 7.5 wins is a good play. Winning the division is a good play. And I'll even give you my lock for opening night against Denver, where I believe it's the game's at Giants Stadium, at MetLife Stadium. The Giants has a pick 'em against Denver as a gift on Sunday, 4:15 p.m. kickoff on Sunday, first Sunday, and so those are your football futures, if you will, on the football giants.
Hell yeah! The Giants, just for conversation's sake, are plus 350 to win the NFC East. Dallas plus 130, Washington football team plus 180, Philadelphia Eagles plus 600. So it's crazy.
Well,
Plus,
Philadelphia's got a new coach, a new quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Washington's got Fitzmagic, and I like that kid, Fitzpatrick. I think he's a good quarterback, and I think Washington will end up being their stiffer competition, believe it or not. But Dallas, I don't know. I just think the Giants are going to wind up running away with the division. I don't think the division's very strong. And I also think Tampa Bay and Kansas City will I would fade both those teams this year. I don't know why, but I would. So
yeah. Seems likely. Love the offseason and all the stuff that swirls around for the NFL. So much going on with college sports and the NIL And then with all the transfer portal stuff simmering down, college basketball is sedimentizing a little bit. NFL cuts and such are starting to happen. Mini camps, training camps. It's almost time, y'all. We're about to hit the dog days of summer. So get your baseball caps on. But we are less than 55 days away from college football, and the NFL is like right around the corner on that. So really looking forward to what we got going on moving into the middle part of the year. I mean, we're just starting to get back into more normalized sports. I'm already looking at going to a couple college football games. So, yeah, it's going to be.
Let's have a weekly show together, Devin. I'm looking forward to it, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We can make that happen. And between you and I'm sure we can make some winnings happen. And that's definitely not in question. 7.5 on the Giants win total. You heard it from Russ first here on Today in Sports Betting. You know, I like that. I like the moves that they looked. And look, I got my bookie right now. I'm on my bookie right now, and they got over 7. You know, we got a little juice at minus 155, but it's only juice if you lose. And I think there's a good shot at them winning that. And them winning that division is something that could very much so happen with the offseason moves that they got and the time that they were able to prep, getting some positional needs addressed, shoring up that line a little bit more through the draft in depth and free agency. So great call on the Giants. And it seems like a different team wins that division every year. So Washington's not winning it. And like you said, Dallas isn't really wowing me or knocking my socks down or up or whichever direction. So, yeah, absolutely, man. I hear that. And
I think the Giants have the best defense in the division.
Yeah.
And, it was well coached last year. They've added some more pieces. And the offense, the receivers are better for Jones has more weapons. Saquon is back and healthy. The team has a full preseason. They have to stay healthy, but every team has to stay healthy in the NFL.
Sure.
But if the chips fall and the system plays out, I do think on paper the Giants have the best roster in the NFC East. So
yeah, absolutely, bud. Well, hey, I'm glad I was able to pick your brain and get some ramblings from Russ because it's been a while. And like I said, it's always good to have some different perspective on the show. And, more to come. Absolutely. And make sure to lock in these plays from Russ because, well, he's pretty sharp. I'm not going to lie. He's been on the show before a few times. And, from what I've seen in the past, you got to jump on the train. So get on before it starts moving.
Thanks, Devin. And before we go, what's your lock of the day, Devin?
Ooh, man. I really like Arizona's team total over 4.5. They just I think there's going to be a lot of runs in that game. And David Peralta and Eduardo Escobar right now are just hitting the ball really well. And Vershala, or can't remember how to pronounce his Varsho, I think is his last name. Starts with a V. But I really like the Arizona team today against Colorado at 2:40 Central Time.
Sounds like a plan, buddy.
Pavin Smith is another batter I like.
Sounds like a plan. Well, good being with you today, my friend. Thank you for having me on your show, and you'll have me back again soon.
Yeah. Well, we got you and other great minds coming on the show soon and more regularly. So I'm gonna just be able to sit back here soon as a host and listen to intelligence be thrown around between co-host to co-host and cohort to cohort. So I look forward to it. Having you guys around makes my life a lot easier and my data bank of knowledge a lot more vast. So again, I appreciate you, Russ, being able to get on here, making the time to make it happen. And, to many more. Absolutely. So I want to kind of book in the show here. I think we're going to have Jonathan Martinez popping in to complete today's segment. like I said on the show I did with Blake, it's kind of like an encyclopedia volume today. We're going to be putting out lots of content for you today, turning different perspectives and different betting angles and styles. And you're going to just kind of get to read up on whatever part of history you want by grabbing whatever volume out of the encyclopedia bundle. So lots of information for you today. We got NFL futures. We got a lot of baseball. And Russ went ahead and gave a prediction out on the finals series result in 5 for the Suns. I like that. I'm probably going to go get a ticket for an exact series finish because I love those bets, and I see it playing out like that, Russ. So any last parting thoughts and words from you, Mr. Ramblin, before we segue into the different part of the show?
No parting thoughts. Just I'm very happy to be on the show today, and I appreciate your time, and spending time talking sports is always fun. So thanks, Devin.
Absolutely, boss. Well, once again, y'all, he is at Russ Ramblin on Twitter, Ramblin Russ in real life. I'm going to get Jonathan Martinez in here, and we are going to talk some home run props and other diddlies in regards to baseball betting. We got some NCAA basketball stuff to chat about as well with Johnny Wuzang staying at UCLA and a lot of other big names. So stay tuned for that. We're going to swap folks out here, and we're going to keep Today in Sports Betting rolling. And good vibes, good energies out your way in Connecticut, Russ. And thanks again once more, boss man.
Thank you very much, Devin. Be well. Thanks.
Yes. Well, Hoop Ballers, like I mentioned, we were going to have lots of different perspectives and folks and contributors joining onto this hodgepodge encyclopedia mega show kind of ordeal that we got going on today on Thursday. So we talked to Ramblin' Russ in a separate show. Blake and I had lots of baseball action, lots of angles and different narratives to take. But this segment of the show is going to be with someone that recently joined back up with Hoopball, I should say. Really, really close friend of the show, close friend of the network. He's been around, and I'm happy to work with him now and looking forward to collaborating and doing more stuff with this gentleman. And you'll find him on Twitter at M42 TINEZ. It's kind of like Martinez, but with 42 in there as some of the characters. So at Martinez, but with 42 after the M. So instead of AR, it's 42. So Jonathan Martinez, buddy, A, welcome back to the team. B, I'm excited to have you on. C, I mean, you've got chops, as we've talked about. You've got a show of your own, so which I love the content. And we're going to talk about your betting angles, and we're going to probably talk some home runs and some player profiles today. I'm excited. How are you doing, man?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the show. Like I told you privately, I've listened to Dan on the fantasy side and with you on the betting side. So it's definitely a long time coming. You mentioned before, I was with the team before doing the blurbs for the fantasy aspect of the website. So it's definitely awesome to be back and working with you guys, and look forward to getting more content out there, as well as winning some money for our listeners and for our Wager Pass followers.
Absolutely, bud. And that's what it's all about, and having fun in the meantime. So yeah, like I alluded to, this is you and I's first show together, but first of many. We've got a great roster now, and not that we didn't before, but just additions are always great, and especially with fresh perspective or different betting angles. And look, I'll be honest, Hoopball Gaming did not have a home run prop bet king before you came along. And just let's dig into this a little bit more. Blake and I were just kind of awestruck, and we talked about it in our show that will be getting uploaded here shortly. And it's like one a day. And it was plus 400 with Eduardo Escobar yesterday.
Yeah, there's a little madness to the home run props. I was looking, first of all, when I first started betting, I kind of started around football season, towards the end of football season. And even then I was taking some like unexpected bets with like next time, like anytime touchdowns or next touchdown, next person to score a touchdown. So the madness kind of started then. And then when baseball season came around last season, the first home run prop that I actually hit on was Luis Robert for Chicago White Sox. Me being in Chicago and being a Sox fan, was looking at the different markets, and a lot of the home run props are really good payouts. Even if you put a little bit on there, you go half a unit, even less than that, depending on what the odds are. And from there, it kind of took a life of its own. And even on my show, like you mentioned, I give out a lot of home run props on there as well. Try to give out at least 2 to 3 a day, just so that, if 1 or 2 do not hit, you still are, coming out with some plus money. If you put a unit on it or however much you bet as a bettor, depending on how comfortable you are. So as time went on, it was just, going through the numbers, kind of looking at the home road splits, lefty righty matchups, career, at bats and lifetime numbers against certain pitchers, where, it kind of, like I said, took up a life of its own. And once I started, writing for you guys again, it was more like now I have to be really precise on who I'm betting on. And I legit looked through all, the whole lineup of games for those specific days. And I'll go through the lineups even beforehand, kind of just seeing how each pitcher does, before the game starts or even the lineups come out throughout the day, and kind of like weed out who I want to focus in on. So, yeah, I've been trying to like get as much winning bets out there as possible and focus in on the home run props, because that's definitely an angle that not too many people focus in on.
Absolutely. Finding your market and your niche and capitalizing on it is very, very important. That's kind of like when college basketball, college football season rolls around, you hear me talking a lot about like Fordham and Duquesne and like just San Jose State and UTSA, it's not as saturated in my opinion, and it takes a lot more hard work and dedication. So I think it shows, and the fruits are a little bit more obvious in those markets when you have success. And I commend you for taking on I consider it almost pretty much a volatile market. It's a fun market, and you're very successful at it. And since you've joined the team, I mean, you've definitely won some money for some folks and covered my rear end on my negative nights like I had last night.
Yeah, I mean, it's a team effort. I've had cold days, and then there's days where I love like a whole bunch of home run props, and it's just a matter of which ones end up hitting. Last night there was one that I wanted to definitely give out. I was kind of on it, but decided not to bet it, which was Juan Soto. He was a guy that he has 9 of now 10 home runs on the road. His home road splits big. There's a big difference there. But Eduardo Escobar, yeah, he was a guy that stood out to me, and we ended up hitting in the 7th inning. So, it's like you said, it's a volatile market. I've also seen guys that I like throughout the season move up on the board as they got hot. Patrick Wisdom was one guy When he went on his home run, when he got called up for the Cubs, hit like 8 or 9 home runs in 5-game stretch, and his numbers started going up, and he started becoming one of the favorites on the board. Cedric Mullins, another guy. I've actually hit on a plus 900 prop before I got on with you guys with Cesar Hernandez from the Indians 2 months ago. So yeah, man, I'm just hoping to bring some plus money and a different angle to the team. Like you said, it's my niche, and like on nights where I'm off, I'm sure you're going to be on, and vice versa. So it's a team effort.
Yeah. And, we're building I keep saying that I say it because we're constantly getting better and stronger. And it's not a, downward criticism of the guys around me and myself, because I have all the confidence in the world in us, and we have some really sharp minds here. Just for example, we got a fat-free golf article for you from our guy Joe Campisi. So it's that kind of stuff. We had some coverage on the big matchup with DeChambeau and Mickelson and the two NFL quarterbacks, Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. So we try to cover everything and do it very sharply. And I wanted to pick your brain because, like you said, you understand this data a little bit more than me. And I wanted to run a question by you, because one of my most favorite things about the MLB is saying winker dinker. And that's a term I have for Jesse Winker hitting a bomb.
Yes.
It's exciting. I've benefited from winker dinkers in DFS multiple times, and it's fun to wish for a Jesse Winker moonshot. So I was looking at his numbers against Hauser, and I want to ask you if this is fool's gold, and if he's, not saying you're Nostradamus or asking you to predict anything, but I just want you to see what I see, and maybe you've already looked at it and you think it's not worth it. But I'm looking at Jesse Winker against Adrian Hauser. He's got 55 pitches that he's seen, 16 at-bats. Here's where it gets crazy. He's got 5 home runs, 9 hits, 5 RBIs. So that means he's hit 5 home runs and gotten 5 solo shots.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
2 strikeouts, no walks, and he has a slugging of $1.50, a good old 1,500. So, his ISO is 938. WOBA against Hauser's 850. Can I talk you into speaking your magic and rubbing the lamp of your home run props on a Jesse Winker dinker? Because it's one of the more exciting things about the baseball season for me.
Yeah, so like you mentioned with the numbers, he's been very successful against Adrian Hauser over his career, and this is actually one of the times that I've hit with Winker was going against Milwaukee. I feel like there's guys throughout the league who kind of circle the calendar whenever a certain team comes into town or they're on the road there, and for some reason Jesse Winker has the magic against Milwaukee, and specifically against Adrian Hauser. So I would see why you would go that route. I think the only issue for me right now with Winker is that he's kind of, regressed to the mean. He was somebody that was, really hot throughout the year. I'm looking, even at his numbers right now, even on the road, he's hit well, still batting over 300 with 9 home runs. So, it's playable. Honestly, it's a playable prop. This season alone, he has 5 home runs against Milwaukee. And I'm sure majority of them have come against Hauser this season. But yeah, I think the only thing that would would make me not want to bet that would probably be just the fact that he's on a little cold run right now, coming into July. He's not even batting over 100, so that's the only thing. But the lifetime success, and if it's at a good number, which I can obviously look into right now, it's still worth a shot, because there are guys that there's, the number might go down and they're still, they could still hit a home run. Even today, he's priced at plus 330. What I'm looking at, and he has the best odds on the board. So it might take a game against Adrian Hauser to get him back on track. And, it wouldn't surprise me if he does hit a home run, but just think he's on a little cold streak right now. So That would be the only thing that would scare me off.
Big cold streak. And, with all that power comes, some strikeouts in abundance.
Exactly.
And water levels out. So that's kind of why I wanted to highlight that. And I want for the listeners also, because, if they see that, I don't want them to go out there blindly just taking that because, they see those numbers, but yeah, as exciting as those numbers are and as crazy as they are, I found them laughable and more comic to laugh about and just kind of bring up and highlight them versus making a play on it. I feel as though making a play on it is a long shot, especially with the rut that he's in currently. But those numbers are just crazy. 5 solo shots, that's just funny. So, and Hauser has been slumping. So,
yeah, and those are the type of matchups that especially when I look at the home run props, the market, I kind of, write down. I'm like, okay, this guy, he's hit well, but I also look at, the last 7 days or the last, 2 weeks, how they're, the batter is batting. Also the pitcher, like how, like I said, home road splits, day games, night games. These are crazy things that only one person could be looking up throughout the day, but that's kind of part of what comes with the success in the betting markets and the betting world in general is doing that added research and kind of, proceeding with caution and letting people know, like, hey, I'm not going to always hit on these bets, but these are, some of the background information I have that goes into it, and try to put the best information out there so that if someone doesn't have the time to obviously go through the research like we do, they could just, read up on our write-ups or listen to us here on the pod and go from there and decide whether it's a bet that's worth, putting money into. But yeah, Winker, he was a guy that even in the futures market, at one point I was looking into as NL MVP just because it was a long shot, but the way he was playing, and obviously he's an all-star this season. Someone that was really hot and it's kind of tailed off. But yeah, it's crazy how it's laughable, like you said, how good he's been against Hauser, and Hauser's, knowing that I'm afraid of. So, maybe a Winker home run prop or even a Castellanos. One of these guys could definitely go yard today against Hauser.
Oh yes. Yeah. I'm excited for it. And we talked about your methodology and madness, kind of counterbalancing each other. And to get more in depth to it, you've got a couple of different games that you were looking at across a couple different leagues tonight. And at the time of recording this podcast, we will have a little bit of overlay on the Houston-Oakland game, but what we're going to see, I don't know if you remember those transparency, the projectors in school that the teachers used to use with the dry erase sheets, and they project
Yes.
So that's kind of like what I'm picturing that we're going to be doing with your baseball play. We're going to be laying it out and like looking it over and overlaying it. Houston, Oakland going to be getting started at 1:10 Central Time. So about 50 minutes. Honestly, like we'll probably get it like right there if I stop rambling. But you know, it's the first show. I'm excited. Let's talk about your play on this one, Jonathan, and let's hear what you got going on in this one.
So, like you mentioned, game's gonna be starting up pretty soon. So hopefully we can get the pick out to you guys. We got the Oakland A's in Houston against the Astros. You have Frankie Montas starting for the A's 7-7 with a 4.63 ERA, going up against Lance McCullers Jr. 6-1 on the year with a 2.97 ERA. So for my home run prop, and I'm really excited, but also nervous because this is my first time on the show. So I'm hopefully starting off with a bang here. There was a number of guys that I liked on the Houston side, especially that their lineup is just hitting lights out right now. I know you're one of the guys I've been reading through on the Discord that's really big on Houston with a futures prop and winning the AL. So I'm going to go with Carlos Correa to hit a home run in this game against Frankie Montas. Currently priced at 480 plus 480 on the market. Correa lifetime against Montas here is he's 6 for 19 lifetime against Montas with 1 home run, 3 RBIs. He's batting .316. If you dive a little bit deeper into the numbers and why I really think Correa is a strong candidate for this for a home run today. He's batting .285 with 10 home runs at home. So he's actually second on the team in home runs at home. If you look a little deeper as well, he has 13 home runs against righties. And then if you look on the other side with Montas, like I mentioned, 4.63 ERA. He's been up and down the last 2 years against Houston. There was one appearance this season where he pitched well, but relatively bad against the Astros. They have a really potent lineup. Away this season, he's given up 6 home runs with a 4.81 ERA. In day games, he's given up 5 home runs with a 3.86 ERA. So, yeah, I really like Carlos Correa in this game to hit a home run. I was kind of leaning towards Jose Altuve today as well, but I'm going to go with Correa. Altuve went yard yesterday, and it wouldn't surprise me if he starts off, the game in the bottom half of the first inning with a home run. But they got Carlos Correa batting in that third spot, and I could see him, getting Houston on the board here. So I'm going to actually parlay Correa home run with the Astros on the run line, 1.5 at plus money here. So go with Correa at plus 480 on a home run prop with the Astros on the run line at plus 112. So those are my 2 picks for that the Astros and Athletics team.
Well, as you alluded to, I am a supporter of the Houston Astros. And honestly, I love this because on days like today where I get burnt by the Astros, well, I burned myself. I was playing with them. Like I went 0-3 on Astros plays last night. I had them on the run line. I had the over half of an RBI for Alvarez and Gurriel. So we are looking at retribution. Houston still won the game, as Blake and I talked about in our recap in the other encyclopedia volume, of this show. But I love these plays significantly so because I will be just viewing this game as a baseball fan tonight because I'm looking to gain more insight and reload. And I love doing that by getting more eye test exposure and looking at stuff a little more acutely. So try to shorten out the obtuseness, And Correa was actually someone I was looking at to overperform in this series. And if you're a baseball fan, this is just a great divisional series and important for all sorts of futures stakes that I have belief in. So really glad to see that you got some play here. And Houston run line almost made it onto my card, but ultimately I just wanted to enjoy this game. And I honestly haven't been able to figure out when to fade or when to support the Oakland starters, specifically Manaea and Montaz. So got to lay off the M&Ms for a little bit and, just dissect.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's games where, even being a White Sox supporter, kind of lay off, and they've had a few injuries throughout the season that's kind of hurt them a little bit. We got some good news today about Eloy Jimenez starting his rehab assignment. So yeah, I mean, there's times where I do the same thing with the White Sox, just let other people bet and kind of just enjoy the game. If it hits, good for them, and just kind of just support the team instead of betting on them, because there's times where it's hard to really decide when to go all in and when not to, and it's kind of it's just part of the betting process, is figuring out what during what games to bet on these teams. So I got lucky yesterday. I gave out the Tim Anderson prop on the Discord, and I parlayed that up with the money line, because I think it was only at -115, which I thought was crazy, especially how well the Sox had played against Minnesota. So that worked out for me yesterday. So probably lay off them a couple games and then get back on it when the opportunity presents itself.
I believe the White Sox are second in the major league as far as, or maybe third. Boston, Houston, and the White Sox are up there in regards to intra-division dominance and win percentages. I know they're a 60% winning team against the divisional opponents. So lots of success. And like you said, you pointed that out against Minnesota. So yeah, what's funny, man? And I don't know if we talked about this or not, but I think we might have briefly off air at some point, but I'm a Cubs fan, and I need to make my way up to Chicago to see a Cubs game at Wrigley. And I might need to just venture down to the South Side also and catch a White Sox game. So, keeping that on the radar. I'll let you know if I make it into your turf.
Yes, please do so. I was just about to say we could definitely do a Cubs game and a Sox game just to get them both down in one trip. I was up in Wrigley 2 nights ago, so I live betted on some stuff there at the game.
Oh yes, yeah, because they got the kiosks and yeah. Yeah, so. I'm excited. Okay. We got to make it true, though. I got to get some pizza, not to be that guy, but I got to get some pizza, and we got to take the train from stadium to stadium. Like, we got to
do the full experience. Exactly.
Yeah.
You got to the cuisine. Take the blue line down to Wrigley, the red line down up to, I call it the cell still, but it's guaranteed rate, Yeah. It's kind of so. Yeah, you let me know when you're in Chicago, and we can make that happen for sure.
Absolutely. It's always been a dream of mine to get up there to Chicago. Us Oklahomans, it's hard to get out of the Midwest for some reason. Yeah. But hey, let's talk NBA now, because I'm intrigued. I wrote this down on our notes as something that you were going to be talking about. And we haven't talked a lot about the NBA Game 2 tonight. I mean, I just uploaded and created the wager pass with a play from Troy in there at Dwayne the Rock J on Twitter. Guys, gals, listeners. Bucks, Suns. Where are you at on this one? Are you on a player prop in this one, or you got a side, or what are you thinking?
So I'm on a player prop in this game, and with the crazy thing about this prop and just this player in general is that never really been a fan until he got traded to Phoenix in the offseason. So I'm gonna go with Chris Paul to record a double-double at +100. This was this was a prop that I was really on earlier in the playoffs, especially during that Nuggets series, and even during the Clipper series, but more so during the Nuggets series, just because Damian Lillard, guy that doesn't really look to assist, or he's more of a score first kind of point guard. He was averaging a double against Denver, but Chris Paul to record a double here. He was 1 assist shy in game 1, finished that one with 32 points and 9 assists. I think he could definitely get a double here. There was another guy that I wanted to give out, but the number is just too high for me with DeAndre Ayton, and I think that's pretty much a lock at this point. It's at minus 300, but with Chris Paul, knowing that this is probably his last opportunity, I would say to even get a ring. I think that he's on on turbo here, foot on the gas, not looking back. Even his MVP odds are, he's the favorite at this point. He was at plus money going into the series, but I like Chris Paul to get a double here at plus 100. Like I said, he was 1 assist shy last game. Has had doubles throughout the playoffs, even with the bump shoulder, and he looks like he's at 100%. He's put that in the past. So Chris Paul, double plus 100.
I like that because at any given moment he can get 20 assists. And
exactly.
And who's going to stop him on that mid-range? I mean, come on now. Like, it's just, I love watching this run that he's on. I've literally sat in front of my TV each time I've watched him play in a postseason game. And I haven't watched every postseason game this year, but every time I've sat down and I've watched CP3, it's just, I find myself laughing every time because it's the same, not the same thing, but because he's so crafty, but he's just doing what he wants. And every time he shoots that ball and he finds the way he wants to get to the shot or the pass set up to Ayton, which Ayton's been phenomenal this series. Just the maturation this postseason alone for that talent, that for him to be that 7-foot dominant presence that they wanted him to be, like he was at Arizona, boy, it's paying dividends. And CP3, like I said, I've been chuckling out loud. I'll be sitting in a room watching basketball by myself and I find myself laughing out loud after CP3 hits a hezzy setup and then a fade mid-range, just bloop, just drops right in the bucket. And it's just so beautiful and it's crafty and it's good basketball. And I hope that he wins his title because, Phoenix, historically speaking, getting one would be cool. And just some really cool narrative within these finals.
Yeah, it's refreshing to see new faces. Throughout the playoffs, we've had a lot of young guys, in their first playoff experience and first playoff run really do well. And it was weird, like, because of all the injuries and people are kind of questioning whether, is there an asterisk on this finals? And it's like, no, I mean, you can't really say that because over the last few years, we've had guys go out in the finals, even beforehand throughout the regular season. But in regards to Chris Paul, yeah, just, even just the maturation and the leadership he's brought to that Phoenix organization. They were a laughingstock not too long ago. And for me personally, like I've been a very big Devin Booker fan, and the way that guy plays and he competes and just his game and is evolved throughout the years. He's made a big imprint on the league. I still think a lot of people underestimate how good he really is. And he's definitely being able to showcase his talent alongside DeAndre Ayton. The jury was out on him because he was, in the same draft with Luka Doncic and Trae Young. And obviously Phoenix was justified in making that pick. They're definitely in better in better hands with him versus, going with the Marvin Bagley route with the Kings. And, and he's had an amazing run. And you can't say that he's gone up against the best bigs. I mean, granted, Anthony Davis was a little hobbled in that first series, but, even, the Joker came out and said that that's the toughest guard he's had all year is with DeAndre Ayton. And he's just rolling right along. And it feeds into, Chris Paul, playing well and having that option, like you said, with the mid-range game. He's either going to shoot the ball or he's just going to lob it up there to Ayton or, that pick and roll, even kick out to guys like Jay Crowder, Booker, Bridges, guys off the bench like Cam Johnson. Doesn't seem like Milwaukee's going to have too much success getting those guys off the three-point line. It seems like Phoenix could kind of get whatever they want, especially Giannis not being 100%. Brook Lopez, that's a matchup nightmare, off of pick and rolls and getting that mismatch, regardless if it's Booker or Chris Paul. So, yeah, man, it's been a fun run for Phoenix, and I hope that they win it all. Even though I'm not the biggest CP3 fan, but you can't knock the guy and the effort he's put into this title run.
Yeah, 16 years to get to a finals, and he was really close with the Clippers, but he's done his due diligence, and like you mentioned, it's good to see some fresh blood in there getting some titles. It's either going to be Milwaukee or Phoenix, and it's been a very long time for Milwaukee. I believe 71 when Kareem was there. Kareem, Oscar Robertson, they were on the. Was that the Big O team?
Yes.
71. Yes. And then, so lots of cool basketball stuff to look at. You mentioned Cam Johnson, but Cameron Payne is someone I noticed as having, he had a clumsy game last game in game one, but for the postseason in general, what I've noticed is teams that have been weak at guarding the perimeter have had a hard time with Cam Payne's speed and first step and him getting to the cup with his 1 foot offhand layup. So his little leaning left-handed layup. And without DiVincenzo being out there, him being a really, really good perimeter defender with above average speed and quickness and lateral movement, the Bucks are a little exposed, and I think Cameron Payne is actually going to be way more effective as a driver in this series and a penetrator than he is a shooter. So really, really looking forward to seeing how it all unfolds. And, it's sports is in an interesting time right now. We're about to hit the dog days of summer in baseball, but we are very, very close to football, collegiate sports, professional NFL football, and all sorts of other stuff. And of course, with dog days of summer in baseball, we're going to have an abundance of your home run props, and that's always fun to look forward to.
Yeah, the weather's getting better. Obviously, the ball's just flying out everywhere.
And they solved that sticky situation. Yes,
and all these pitchers who the numbers are down, especially with Garrett Cole. The ball's gonna be flying everywhere. So yeah, stay tuned to the home run props. You mentioned the other sports that are coming up soon. I look forward to potentially coming back on for college basketball season. I was not with the company at that point, but was kind of giving out picks on different apps, and college basketball is probably one of my better handicapping sports, you would say. So yeah, I look forward to all these sports starting up and getting into the dog days of summer, like you mentioned, with baseball, and getting some more wins out there and working more with you guys. It's been a pleasure so far, and look forward to what else we have in store, for hoop ball. So.
Oh yeah. And it's infinitely abundant with what we're capable of over here, you know. So college basketball is always a party time. Jeez, man, I love college basketball. Might be honestly my favorite sport. College football, though, y'all are gonna see a different side of me here in about 2 months. That's for damn sure. And yeah, just collegiate sports, man. That's where it's at. So, well, Jonathan, I was delighted to get you on here, bud. We're getting some, you know, like I said, new/old friends and people back on the show and getting some people introduced. So, yeah, man, abundance of content to be had in a collaborative effort between you and I. This show is just as much as yours. You know, you're part of this team full on now. So looking forward to continued work with you, bud. And I know the listeners are looking forward to these abstract home run props.
Yeah, we could definitely chop it back up on here and go into the numbers again, and also with other sports. But like I said before, thanks for having me on the show. Look forward to putting more content out there with you guys, and let's, you know, keep the ball rolling here.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, bud, I'm going to bid you a safe rest of the day. We're going to wrap the rest of this show up. Big mega show today. A couple different collaborative efforts. Just a big bunch of hodgepodge efforts here. And once again, that was Jonathan Martinez, one of our own over here at Hoopball Gaming. And again, his Twitter handle is at M42TINEZ. Kind of like Martinez, but substitute 42 in there. So check him out. Check the team out. Go to hoop-ball.com. We're going to have a lot more for the rest of the week. And we got Friday coming up. We got a weekend rolling out. All-Star breaks coming up. We got home run markets to check out. We got home run derby markets to check out. And we got some fun stuff coming up. We got some college football previews. Don't forget the promo codes. Let's get your aunts, uncles, grandmas, and stepmothers all signed up for MyBookie. If you know someone that has an email address that's never been used for mybookie.ag, send them our way. We'll give them some free money, and they can maybe play some like slot machines with it and eat their old Werthers while they do it. And, you know, you get to help us grow if you do that using those promo codes. Hoopball, specifically over at mybookie.ag. Bet, win, get paid. With that being said, let's go ahead and wrap this up. We had Ramblin Russ on today. We had Jonathan Martinez, and the team just keeps growing. So if you think you want to write, talk about sports, you want to join up, hey, holler. You know where to find us. All the Twitter handles. Just reach out to us, DM us, add us, whatever all the kids are doing nowadays. Good vibes, good energies from me always. As you know, be safe, be kind. Let's get out there. Let's win some money, and let's be profitable in bets and in life. Let's go ahead and enrich someone else's day. Do kind stuff. Be safe. Today in Sports Betting is out.
This has been a Hoop Ball presentation.